Hi, I'm Judi Vitale from ReadTheStars.com and welcome to this video about the Sun in Sagittarius 2012. Well, when the Sun goes into Sagittarius, it's the holiday season. We have Thanksgiving coming up right away, and by the way, the Sun will go into Sagittarius on the 21st this year. It's a little bit early, so babies being born, people might think they're a Scorpio, they're actually a Sagittarius. And that could be good or bad news depending on the rest of your family's dynamics. But anyway, the time of the Sun in Scorpio is one that it's a little bit about our dark side. You know, we talk about Halloween as opposed to Thanksgiving, and then, you know, the other holidays after that, which take place in Sagittarius. People are thinking about death. They're thinking about death and rejuvenation, but they're also thinking about, you know, how things come to a close. Well, by the time the Sun gets to Sagittarius, I think that we kind of just throw it all aside and go, what the heck? And we just have a great time for the holidays. So that's probably due to the fact that Sagittarius is ruled by the planet Jupiter, which is all about exuberance and happiness and all the great stuff that comes from the planets when you think about good luck and good fortune. And Jupiter is sort of in charge of all of that. This year, Jupiter will be in play very much so because it will be opposite the Sun in Sagittarius. And so the exuberance of Sagittarius, I believe, will be a little bit greater than usual. We'll probably see this especially on December 13th when we have the new moon in Sagittarius. We also have a couple of little aspects that the Sun will make throughout the time that it remains in Sagittarius. The Sun square Neptune on November 22nd, Thanksgiving Day. The Sun square Neptune can be a little bit, you know, moody, but it can also be very hopeful and happy and spiritual. And I think that Thanksgiving can be a very spiritual holiday. And I certainly like to, in addition to just eating and cooking and having a great time around the TV set, it's family time. It's time also to acknowledge the blessings that we have. And so maybe that will turn people toward that train of thought. I certainly hope so. On the 26th, the Sun will be in a trine with Uranus, and this is going to be a lot of excitement and happiness. And then, as I said, we'll have the Sun opposite Jupiter. That'll be on December the 2nd, so stay tuned for that too. These are all of the aspects that it's going to be making. And now, for those of you who are interested, I'd like to talk about what a Sagittarian person is like. If you're a Sagittarius, or if you have a Sagittarius in your life, or if you just want to experience the feeling of the Sun in Sagittarius, it's a sign of nobility, refinement, and force. It's the refinement of the element of fire. It's the last fire element, or the last fire sign in the zodiac. And so it's the radiant part of fire, the thing that creates the rainbow in alchemy. There is always a lot of strength associated with Sagittarius, but it must be tempered so that there's not too much speed and suddenness to the actions that the person takes. There's a fitful brilliance and a focus on the higher mind. The people are usually high-spirited, but also very high-strung. So you have to understand that about a Sagittarius person, that they're always just a little bit nervous and they seem a little bit overexcited. Well, they are, okay? They're always prepared to take action. They will always defend. They're also very, very, very loyal. But they don't like to be tied down. So you often hear like, well, Sagittarius don't take very well to making commitments. And this is partially true, but it's more due to the fact that they just don't want to be tied down. So if you are involved with a Sagittarius, even if it's just a friend, you have to understand that there are going to be times when they just have to be free. They love to travel. They love to study. They're always exploring, and these are the things that you always hear about them. But some of the things that you might not know, which I kind of want to dig a little bit deeper with, is they are also very proud of what they know and who they are, and they have very refined taste. So even though they're quite capable of, you know, lapping down pancakes and maple syrup, they really do like the best of the pancakes and the finest, most pure of the maple syrups. So think about that when you're trying to please a Sagittarius person. They don't like to be humiliated, because they really are, you know, as I said, very proud of themselves. And so you don't want to like say, oh, you're just being stupid or silly. They're going to be very crushed when you say that. They're a little bit more sensitive than they seem on the outside. They will never go back on their word, but they won't always give their word either. Sagittarians are chronically late. When you're waiting for a Sagittarius, pad on 10 minutes. If the movie starts at 1:10, tell them that it starts at 1 o'clock, and you might get close to being on time. Sagittarius people can often be too trusting. Some call it gullible. But really, they just want to believe the best about everybody, because that's the Jupiterian thing, too, the thing that has to do with Jupiter. They should not necessarily rely on other people's advice too much and really use their fine instinct that they have. What's coming from their gut is usually very true, because they're capable of seeing the truth. They're always aiming at the truth. But they're not so good at doing two things at once, because that action of the archer pointing the arrow like that is so focused that just that one thing, that any distraction really makes it a little bit difficult. In health, a Sagittarian can be prone to nervous disorders, possibly because of that overzealousness that we discussed, but they have strong recuperative powers and often live to a great long age. The hips and thighs and the tendons and ligaments are ruled by Sagittarius. So usually a Sagittarian person will be very leggy or have very strong legs, and are usually pretty good runners and like running sports. They also have to be very aware of keeping the hip part of the body strong, because this is what supports us into old age. And if you lose that support, then old age can be very unpleasant. They have a certain incessant equilibrium, willpower, bodily strength, and a lot of valor. So these are great people to have in your corner if you're ever in a fight. But it should be noted, this is from a book called The Zodiacs and the Salts of Salvation, which have to do with the signs and the cell salts that are associated with them. And I just love this book for the descriptions of the sun signs, believe it or not. The word arrow is the root of the word arrogant, and that is the negative side of Sagittarius. Sagittarius can often come across sounding very arrogant because they are so erudite and they are very smart. But sometimes they make mistakes by doing things too quickly. So if you're a Sagittarian, or you have one that's sort of in your little milieu there, just sort of, suggest to them that it might not always be the best idea to assume that one knows everything. But also be nice to your Sagittarius person, or nice to yourself if you are a Sagittarius, by giving that Sagittarius a lot of open air and respect. Sagittarius likes to have respect for what they know. And I think that we can all kind of understand why so many Sagittarians are great lawyers and also involved in religion, because they really are about maintaining the moral order of the society. And so that's why Sagittarians are just such great people to know. They're always honest and true and loving and giving, and very, very funny people. Great senses of humor. So as we all take on the sun in Sagittarius, maybe we'll all have a great sense of humor. How would that be? You all have a happy Thanksgiving and a happy sun in Sagittarius time. Again, I'm Judi Vitale with ReadTheStars.com. Check us out.